everyone. So today I'm going to talk about this group here, the metalloids, otherwise known as the semimetals. These are metals that have properties of both metals and non-metals, hence the name. So let's get started. For boron, I decided to connect. I broke one of my neodymium magnets, so I have this because it contains boron, because its formula is NdFeB2. You can see the rest of it in my neodymium sample in the length of my video, but boron is fairly tough. Actually, one of the toughest metals or substances. And boron is also very expensive. The easiest way I'd recommend to isolate pure boron is to use borax, which is borium sulfate or carbonate, I think, and like the powdered borax you can buy in grocery stores, and burn it with potassium metal, and the product of this reaction produces pure boron. This is the same way that relates to how boron was discovered. So, and silicon. For silicon, I collected a piece of quartz, and quartz is SiO2, which means it's silicon dioxide, and silicon makes up about 80 to 92% of all minerals in the Earth's crust, and silicon is pretty abundant, but the metal is pretty expensive and hard to refine, because silicon metal, you would think, is just a lump of irregularly shaped metal. You'd probably think it looked like iron, but it's not. In fact, if I were you, I'd think it looks like nickel, maybe even silver or mercury, or maybe iridium or platinum. And if you know what these metal looks like, you can have a pretty good idea of what silicon metal looks like. So, for germanium, I collected, I don't know if you can see there, this is a piece from a computer microchip. So I took apart a microchip and took out this little piece, because this piece contains germanium and silicon. Because germanium is used as a semiconductor, and this thing is actually used for circuit wires, because it's a very good conductor. It's not very expensive, and it's pretty easy to refine. So this metal is actually pretty easy metal to get a hold of. Hold on. For arsenic, I collected a LED, because arsenic is used as a semiconductor inside LEDs, just like gold, if you remember in one of my earlier videos. And arsenic is one of the most toxic elements on Earth. In fact, there's lots of records of history of famous people who got killed by arsenic. Because if you know these three famous artists, Van Gogh, Claude Monet, and I think what was that person's name again? I think I forgot that person's name, but he was a French artist. He loved the color Paris green, and they all love the color Paris green, which is a deep emerald green color of paint. This paint was forbidden in the 17th century to the 18th century because it was discovered to contain arsenic, which is very toxic, and the artists who used this paint got poisoned by it. So, for example, Van Gogh got mental problems because of this metal, semi-metal, and Claude Monet was blind due to this metal. And arsenic pretty dangerous, pretty hard to get hold of. Sometimes you can't even buy it because it's so toxic. And well, I'm not gonna waste my time talking about this element, but I can all day, but I can't. So I'm gonna move on and go to antimony. For antimony, I collected a match because the match head contains antimony because it helps it burn brighter. And the antimony actually is one of the most explosive elements on Earth, and that's why this metal is sometimes used in bombs. And actually, this metal is actually found in ancient Egyptian coal, which is actually a dark pigment used to cover your eyelash with, and this was contained antimony. So, well, and antimony is pretty expensive, pretty hard to get hold of, and sorry about the camera getting dropped. So, let's move on. For tellurium, I collected a piece of rock salt, or halite, because halite was evaporated from water, from salt water, and salt water does contain very tiny amounts of tellurium. I think about 0.00038 grams per liter. So, and tellurium is one of the most insidious elements on Earth, because any person who dares to hold it for 1 second, they get like blisters on their hand, when they hold it in their bare hand. So this metal is handled with gloves and handled with lots of caution. And this metal, by the way, is pretty expensive. If you want to add this metal to your element collection, I'd say a piece of fiber optic cable would be the best option, or a piece of glass that has been dyed red, because tellurium compounds can produce a very bright red pigment, just like how red a ruby is, if you've ever seen a ruby. So let's move on. Polonium. This metal is actually one of the most hardest metals to get hold of. I collected some meteorites, if you remember, as osmium in one of my earlier videos, and these meteorites do contain polonium, but if I were you, I would not collect this meteorites, because there's a better option, and it is an antiseptic brush. I did not have an antiseptic brush, so I used meteorites, and because an antiseptic brush has controlled amounts of polonium, and it removes static from objects that you brush it with. And polonium is highly radioactive. In fact, it goes red from its own radioactivity. And this is the thing that triggers the explosion of atomic bombs. So this metal, pretty dangerous, pretty hard to get hold of, pretty expensive, so I wouldn't recommend it. And thank you for joining me today. I'll be waiting for you in the next one. Talk to you then.